Let's talk about Lewis Hamilton and his extraordinary Ferrari story. After all, everybody is talking about it, including Martin Brundle, the chief commentator at Sky Sports F1, who recently described it as the gift that will keep giving to them at Sky. For those who may not be aware, Martin is a former racing driver, whose 12 seasons in F1 are best remembered for the years of commentary provided afterwards. She was active during the time of Ayrton Senna, and it is a testament to her dissembling skills that she described the revered Brazilian as her greatest rival. That would be a bit like his colleague Karen Chandhok referring to Lewis Hamilton as his greatest rival. They may have shared some seasons together in F1, but they certainly weren't rivals. In much the same vein, Martin is also considered by many to be Lewis Hamilton's toughest critic, so in this video, we will be reviewing this reputation in light of her comments about his Ferrari story being the gift that keeps on giving. But, before going further, we would like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the BBC and Channel 4's coverage of what happened in Abu Dhabi. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, Martin has over 40 years of experience in Formula One, albeit better known for her subsequent 28 years of commentary than her racing. It was during those 28 years that she gained the reputation as the go-to person for sensationally harsh criticism of the GOAT, like her American colleague Danica Patrick tried to do recently, but failed at so spectacularly. Our earliest evidence of Brundle earning her reputation for being Hamilton's toughest critic dates back to the Monaco Grand Prix of 2011, but if you have any earlier, please provide them in the comments section. Martin, who at that time was commentating for the BBC, questioned Sir Lewis's mindset after what had been a frustrating race for the 2008 champion, who fumed at rivals and stewards after he had been penalised twice and finished sixth. She said, "The problem with Lewis is that it's always someone's fault. You wonder if he needs a bit of a mindset change on that. To make the overtakes as he does, you've got to be pretty adventurous. Lewis had to take some risks today, and has been so unlucky all weekend. There was some frustration in his driving, but it can't always be the other guy's fault." It could be argued that it was rather harsh for a former winless driver to question the mindset of a driver who went into the final race of his debut season, leading the championship table, and would have won but for mechanical misfortune during the race, but undaunted, he went on to win the title the following year. If that's not evidence of the right mindset, then we don't know what is. But what we do know is that it does not behove the driver who is better known as a commentator to question the mindset of the GOAT. It is ironic that it didn't occur to Martin that if she had had something of the Hamilton attitude, perhaps she would have done better herself. It is particularly odd that such criticism about the GOAT came from someone who idolized her greatest rival, despite saying that. "I knew Senna was beatable, but it became incredibly intense when I started winning. He was rattled, he started complaining about the stewards, convinced they had it in for him and were trying to nail him for his aggressive tactics. Things came to a head at Snetterton. He'd got alongside me coming out of Sear, drove half on the grass, and connected with my rear tire. He went up in the air, landed, but kept his foot in, and T-boned me at the next corner, which, ironically, is now called Brundle. He'd tried to have me off the road. There was a ruthless streak in him, but strangely, as we saw later, there was also compassion in him." Why did she then turn around and question the mindset of the GOAT, who has the reputation of being the cleanest driver in F1, for questioning the steward's bias against him? The irony deepens when one considers that 14 years later, she was again questioning the GOAT's mindset as he stands on the verge of winning an unprecedented 8th title at the most iconic team in F1. It would appear that querying the mindset of the GOAT is a recurring theme for the commentator with a loser's mindset, who never won a race in F1. Another striking criticism of the GOAT by the driver who made the top 10 list of those not to have won a Grand Prix can be found in 2016. This of course was the year in which the then 3-times world champion was outrageously denied his fourth by his own team, under suspicion that they were sabotaging him in favor of his teammate and eventual winner, Nico Rosberg. After the conclusion of qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix, Sir Lewis refused to speak to the media because of the disrespect and criticism he had suffered for posting on social media during an earlier press conference. This was of course during the period when he was practically the only F1 driver on social media, something he was routinely excoriated for. Martine led the chorus of abuse with her stinging remark that the then 31-year-old triple champion was childish and stupid, which generated countless headlines. Did she have to brand him childish and stupid? Where has all the antipathy towards social media gone now, as the whole of F1 is trying desperately to catch up to what they had mocked before? Well, 5 years on from Suzuka and 10 years on from Monaco, Martine was at it again, leading the way in gaslighting the theft of Sir Lewis's record-breaking 8th title in Abu Dhabi in 2021. However, this time around she was busy on multiple anti-Lewis fronts. In one instance, she was busy leveraging her almost 40 years' experience to sell the fake story that the race steward had some authority under the regulations to manipulate the race, and suggested that it would be sad if the matter had to go to court.
Well, it was an incredible few minutes of sport, wasn't it? With a very grave consequences if you were Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes-Benz, and an amazing experience if you were Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Very complex matter. So it was so exciting to a wonderful finale to a wonderful Grand Prix season. But
then when that failed, she claimed that it would be wrong to sack the steward, and when that too failed, she claimed it was too late to reverse the decision. Fortunately for her, Mercedes had conveniently dropped their appeal anyway. So, it would appear that every time Sir Lewis was getting stabbed in the back by the sport, Martine would be there or thereabouts twisting the knife. This of course begs the question of what she meant when she said the Hamilton-Ferrari story was a gift that would keep on giving to them at Sky Sports, given her track record. Furthermore, she is on record as having questioned the GOAT's mindset on the move to Ferrari, and has all but written off any chances of title glory, outside of a grudging hedging of the bet just to cover herself. It is rather odd that she leveraged her experience in F1 to make the most outrageous criticisms of the GOAT, when the truth of the matter is that experience gives her no authority whatsoever to speak on a sport that she was so bad at. It is a clear-cut case of racism that she is allowed to get away with what Danica was sanctioned for. Forza Ferrari.